I should have known better than to trust a man with that much silence in his eyes. He walked into the diner at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, all broad shoulders and careful movements, like someone who'd learned the hard way that the world notices everything. Bald head catching the fluorescent lights, tattoos creeping up his neck, the kind you don't get at some trendy parlor, the kind that tell stories you don't ask about. When those men in suits cornered him in the booth, I saw his hands go flat on the table. Not fists. Flat. Like he was holding himself back from something terrible. I saw the envelope. I heard the threat in their voices. I lied about a health inspection and saved his life. He told me I'd just put myself between him and the kind of danger most people never survive. I should have walked away. Instead, I sat down and asked his name. That was the night everything changed. You will feel so many emotions in this story of second chances and forbidden love. Please support us by clicking subscribe to the channel. But let me back up. My name is Sarah Mitchell, and for 2 years I've been pouring coffee at Rosie's Diner on the corner of 5th and Morrison in downtown Portland. It's the kind of place where the vinyl booths are cracked and taped, where the jukebox still plays Patsy Cline if you kick it right, where regulars know my name and leave crumpled dollar bills as tips. It's honest work. Late shifts, sore feet, the smell of grease and burnt coffee in my hair. My life is small, predictable, safe, exactly what I needed after Jake, my ex-boyfriend, made it anything but. The diner closes at midnight on weeknights, but I'm usually there until 1, wiping down tables, counting the register, locking up alone. My manager, Linda, tells me I should ask someone to walk me out. I tell her I'm fine. I've been fine for 6 months now, ever since I changed my number and moved to a new apartment with 3 deadbolts on the door. He walked in at 11 on a Tuesday. I noticed him immediately. You would too. Broad shoulders filling out a plain black t-shirt, jeans worn soft at the knees, work boots that had seen actual work. But it was his head that caught my attention first, shaved clean, the overhead lights reflecting off his scalp, and the tattoos. They crawled up his neck like vines, dark ink against pale skin, the kind you don't get at some trendy parlor downtown, the kind that tell stories you don't ask about. He moved carefully. That's what struck me. Like someone who'd learned the hard way that the world notices everything. He slid into the corner booth, the one by the window where you can see the whole room. And when I brought him a menu, he didn't look at it. Just coffee, black. His voice was low, quiet, not shy, controlled. You got it. I brought him the pot, filled his cup. His hands were wrapped around it before I finished pouring, like he needed the warmth more than the caffeine. I noticed the scars on his knuckles, the tattoo on his wrist that looked like numbers someone had tried to cover with something else. He didn't look at me. Didn't look at anything, really. Just stared into that coffee like it held answers. I was refilling the napkin dispensers when they walked in. 2 men in suits, expensive ones. The kind that don't belong in Rosie's Diner at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. They scanned the room, found him in the corner booth, and walked straight over. One of them slid into the seat across from him. The other stood, blocking the aisle. I couldn't hear what they said at first, but I could see it. The way his jaw tightened. The way his hands went flat on the table. Not fists, just flat. Palms down, like he was holding himself back from something terrible. The man across from him leaned forward, slid a manila envelope across the formica, and said something low and sharp. A threat. I know what threats sound like. The man with the shaved head. My customer. The one who'd ordered black coffee and nothing else. He didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stared at that envelope like it was a bomb. I didn't think. I just moved. Sorry, gentlemen. I walked up to the booth. Smile too bright. Voice too loud. We're closing early tonight. Health inspection. You'll have to leave. The suits looked at me like I was an insect. The one standing crossed his arms. We're having a private conversation. Not here, you're not. I don't know where the steel in my voice came from. Maybe from Jake. From all those nights he'd cornered me. And I'd learned that sometimes you just have to take up space and refuse to move. The man across from my customer picked up the envelope, slipped it inside his jacket. He stood slowly, buttoned his coat, and looked at me like he was memorizing my face. We'll be in touch. They left. The diner was silent except for the hum of the freezer and the buzz of the neon sign outside. I stood there, heart hammering, wondering what I'd just done. When I finally looked down, he was staring at me. Really staring. Gray eyes that had seen too much. You just saved my life. I laughed. Nervous, high-pitched. I just saved you from bad coffee. He didn't smile. I'm serious. They weren't here to talk. The way he said it made my skin go cold. I should have walked away. Should have told him to finish his coffee and leave. Instead, I slid into the booth across from him. Who are you? He was quiet for a long time. Then he picked up his cup, drained it, and set it down carefully. Someone who doesn't get second chances. He stood, pulled a 20 from his wallet, dropped it on the table for a $4 coffee. You shouldn't be here alone at night. Then he walked out into the dark. I stood there staring at that $20 bill, at the empty booth, at the window where I could still see his reflection in the glass, and I realized my hands were shaking. 3 nights later, I'm closing up alone when I see him across the street, standing under a streetlight, watching the diner, watching me. His name is Derek Cole. I learned this not because he tells me, but because I ask Linda, who asks her husband. Who knows a guy who does construction work on the east side? Derek Cole, 31 years old, keeps to himself, shows up on time, works hard, doesn't talk much. That's all anyone knows, or all anyone's willing to say. He's everywhere now. At my bus stop in the morning, leaning against the shelter, hands in his pockets, watching the traffic. Outside the diner when I lock up at night, across the street or half a block down, always in the shadows but never quite hiding. In the convenience store on my block when I stop for milk at 2 a.m., standing in the cereal aisle like he's considering Lucky Charms versus Cheerios, but his eyes track me the whole time. I should feel stalked, hunted, the way I felt with Jake toward the end, when he'd show up at my work, at my gym, at my friend's apartment, always with some excuse about why he just happened to be there. But I don't. I feel seen. Safe. Like someone finally noticed that Jake's been texting me again from a new number. That the lock on my apartment door barely works. That I walk home alone at 2 a.m. through streets that swallow sound. Derek doesn't explain himself, doesn't apologize for being there. Just shows up. On Thursday, the wobbly table in my section, the one that's driven me crazy for months, is suddenly level. I find him in the parking lot afterward, getting into a beat-up Ford truck. Did you fix my table? He looks at me, then away. It was annoying. You didn't have to do that. I know. On Saturday, my grocery bag splits on the sidewalk outside the convenience store, cans rolling into the gutter, and before I can even crouch down, he's there, scooping them up, carrying them the 3 blocks to my building without asking if I need help, because he knows I won't ask. On Monday, he stops me on my way into the diner. See that guy? He nods toward a man in a gray hoodie sitting in a parked car across the street. I've noticed him before. Twice, maybe 3 times this week. What about him? He's not a customer, Sarah. He's waiting for something. The way Derek says my name makes my stomach flip. Like he's been practicing it. Like it matters. How do you know? He looks at me. And there's something in his expression I can't quite read. Knowledge. Experience. The kind you don't get from books. I just know. I want to ask how. Want to ask why he's watching out for me. Why he fixed my table and carried my groceries and learned my schedule. But something in his careful way of moving, the way he holds himself like a man who knows exactly how much damage he can do and chooses not to, it tells me he's an expert in survival, and that means he's survived something. Then Jake shows up. It's Tuesday night, almost closing time, and I hear him before I see him. That voice, slurred and sharp, cutting through the diner's quiet hum. Sarah! Sarah, I know you're here. He stumbles through the door, and my heart drops into my stomach. He's drunk. Really drunk. The kind of drunk where he thinks he's invincible and I'm the reason his life fell apart. Linda reaches for the phone. I shake my head. The last time I called the cops on Jake, he spent the night in jail and then 3 months making my life hell. Restraining orders are just paper. They don't stop fists. We need to talk. Jake's weaving between tables, knocking a salt shaker to the floor. You can't just walk away. You owe me. I don't owe you anything. My voice is steady, but my hands aren't. I'm gripping the coffee pot so hard it might shatter. You ruined my life. He's close now. Too close. I can smell the whiskey, see the rage in his bloodshot eyes. He reaches for my wrist, and then Derek's there. I didn't see him come in, didn't hear the door. But suddenly he's between us, solid as a wall. his voice low and calm. She said leave. Jake tries to focus on him, squinting. Who the hell are you? Someone who's asking nicely. Once, Jake laughs. Actually laughs. Then swings. Derek doesn't fight back. Doesn't throw a punch. Doesn't shove. Doesn't escalate. He just catches Jake's wrist midair and holds it there, effortless, like he's stopping a child from touching a hot stove. Jake tries to pull free, can't. Stumbles backward when Derek lets go. You're crazy. You're both crazy. Jake backs toward the door, still yelling, still threatening. Derek doesn't move until he's gone. Doesn't even turn around. Just stands there, listening, making sure Jake actually leaves. When the silence settles, I realize I'm shaking, trembling so hard the coffee pot rattles in my hands. Derek gently takes it from me, sets it on the counter. You're safe now. He shrugs off his jacket. Canvas, worn soft, smelling like sawdust and something clean, and drapes it over my shoulders. It's still warm from his body. Thank you. He nods, starts walking toward the door. Derek? He stops. Turns halfway. How did you know that I needed help? His expression is unreadable. I'm always watching. He leaves. I'm standing there wrapped in his jacket, heart still racing, when Linda comes out from the kitchen. She's pale, clutching her phone. Sarah. I know. I'll file a report. Not about Jake. She holds out her phone, shows me the screen. A Google search. Derek Cole, Portland, Oregon. The first result is a mugshot. Younger, angrier, but unmistakably him. The headline reads, Derek Cole sentenced to 12 years for aggravated assault and armed robbery. Linda's voice is barely a whisper. Do you know who he is? What he did? I don't sleep that night. I sit on my couch with my laptop balanced on my knees, reading everything I can find about Derek Cole. There isn't much. A few news articles from 8 years ago, brief and clinical. The facts are simple, brutal. Derek Cole, 23, arrested for aggravated assault and armed robbery. A convenience store on Southeast Division. The owner was hospitalized with a fractured skull. Derek took a plea deal, 12 years, eligible for parole after 8 with good behavior. He served 8 years, got out 3 months ago. The mugshot stares back at me from the screen. Younger, harder, with eyes that held nothing but rage. I try to reconcile that face with the man who draped his jacket over my shoulders, who fixed my wobbly table, who caught Jake's wrist without breaking it even though I know he could have. At 6 a.m., I give up on sleep. Shower, dress, go to work early. Linda doesn't mention it. Doesn't have to. She keeps looking at me like I'm a bomb that might detonate. Derek shows up at 7. I see him through the window, standing in the parking lot by his truck, hands in his pockets. Waiting. He knows I know. Of course he does. News travels fast in neighborhoods like ours. I grab 2 coffees and walk outside before I can talk myself out of it. He watches me approach, his expression careful, neutral. Like he's already decided how this conversation ends and is just waiting for me to catch up. Black, right? I hold out the cup. He takes it slowly, like he's not sure it's real. Sarah. Don't. I cut him off because if he apologizes, if he explains, I might lose my nerve. I need to know. And I need you to tell me the truth, not a version of it. The truth. He's quiet for a long moment. Then he nods. You want to know? Or you want to judge? Both. Maybe. I don't know. He leans against his truck, stares into his coffee. I was 23. Stupid. Desperate. My mom had just died. Left me raising my little sister Megan. She was 14. We had nothing. No insurance. No savings. Just bills and a landlord who didn't care that we were drowning. His voice is flat. Factual. Like he's reporting someone else's life. My cousin Marcus called. Said he had a way to make fast money. Easy job. In and out. No one gets hurt. I didn't ask questions. Didn't want to know. Just needed the money. What happened? We drove to a convenience store on Division. Marcus went in first. I was supposed to wait in the car, keep the engine running. That was it. But then I heard shouting, crashing. I ran inside. He stops, drinks his coffee. His jaw works like he's chewing glass. The owner had a bat. Marcus had a gun I didn't know about. They were fighting, and Marcus was losing it, screaming, and I tried to pull him off, tried to stop it. But the owner swung at me. Marcus panicked, and he closes his eyes. Marcus hit him. With the gun, the owner went down hard, blood everywhere. Fractured skull, brain bleed. My stomach turns. I grip my coffee cup tighter. Marcus wanted to run. I called 911, stayed until the ambulance came, made sure the guy didn't die. Did he? Die? No, but he's got permanent damage. Headaches, memory problems, lost his store. His whole life changed because of what we did. The weight of it sits between us, heavy, undeniable. Why did you take the plea? Because Marcus had priors. Because if we both went to trial, Megan would have ended up in foster care. Because the DA offered me 12 if I testified that Marcus was the one who hit him. 8 with good behavior. And you did it. Yeah, I did it. He looks at me then, really looks at me, and I see it. The cost, 8 years in a cage. 8 years of watching his sister grow up through plexiglass. 8 years of knowing he threw his life away for fast money that never came. Everyone told me to run. My voice sounds strange, distant. From you. Linda? My friend Amy, probably my mom if I told her. Everyone says I should stay away from you. They're right. But when I look at you, all I see is someone who paid for his mistakes. His eyes widen slightly, like I've surprised him. I stayed with that store owner until help came. That's more than Marcus did. That's more than a lot of people would do. Doesn't change what I did. No, but it says something about who you are. The silence stretches. A truck rumbles past on the street. Somewhere a dog barks. I get it if you want me gone, Sarah. His voice is rough. Most people do. I don't blame them. I'm an ex-con. I'll always be an ex-con. That doesn't go away just because I did my time. He sets his coffee cup on the hood of his truck, reaches for his keys. But I need you to know, those men who came to the diner that night, they were from my past. And when you lied to get them out, you put yourself on their radar. So I've been watching to make sure they don't come back. That's all. I'm not stalking you. I'm protecting you. He opens the truck door. Derek. He stops. Jake knows where I live, and he's not done. I swallow hard. So I'm asking, please, don't go. Something shifts in his expression. From resignation to something else. Something I can't name. You sure about that? No, but I'm asking anyway. He closes the truck door, steps closer, and for the first time since I met him, I see something in his eyes that isn't careful or controlled. Hope. Then I'm not going anywhere. That night I sleep knowing he's parked outside my building. And for the first time in months, I actually sleep. Until I wake up to my phone buzzing at 3 a.m. A text from an unknown number. Check outside. I stumble to the window, pull back the curtain. Jake's car is in the parking lot. Windows smashed. Tires slashed. Glass glittering under the streetlights like diamonds. And on my door, wedged under the handle, a note in handwriting I don't recognize yet. He won't bother you again. But you need to know. Someone else is watching you. I don't call the cops. I stand in my doorway at 3 a.m. holding that note, staring at Jake's destroyed car, and I don't call anyone because I know who did this, and I know why. And some part of me, the part that's been scared for 6 months, the part that flinches at footsteps behind me, the part that checks locks 3 times before bed, is glad. Derek's truck is still parked across the street. I can see him in the driver's seat, awake, watching. When I step outside in my pajamas and bare feet, he gets out slowly, hands visible, like he's approaching a spooked animal. You shouldn't have done that. My voice comes out steadier than I feel. I know. You could go back to prison. I know. Then why? He looks at Jake's car, then at me. Because he wasn't going to stop. And I can't watch you be afraid anymore. The raw honesty of it steals my breath. I hold up the note. What does this mean? Someone else is watching me. His jaw tightens. Get dressed. I'll explain over coffee. We end up at an all-night diner 6 blocks away. Not Rosie's. Somewhere neutral. And Derek orders us both breakfast neither of us touches. He sits across from me in the booth, hands wrapped around his mug, and tells me about Marcus, his cellmate, his cousin's best friend, the one who actually pulled the trigger on their collective stupidity 8 years ago. Marcus got out 2 months before Derek, and he's not handling freedom well. He's been calling Derek, showing up at the construction site, wanting to relive old times, wanting Derek to help him with jobs. I told him no, told him I'm done with that life. Derek's voice is quiet. But Marcus doesn't hear no. He hears betrayal. And when those men showed up at Rosie's that night, asking me to meet with Marcus, that was a test. To see if I'd come, if I'd play. And I stopped it. You stopped it. Which means Marcus knows about you now. Knows you matter to me. The way he says it, matter to me, makes something flutter in my chest. Is that why you've been watching me? Partly. But also because he stops. Starts again. I've been out 3 months. Most days I wake up and forget I'm not in a cell. I go to work, come home to an apartment with nothing in it, and I think, this is it. This is what freedom looks like. Empty. He finally looks at me. Then you lied to those men to protect me. A stranger. And suddenly freedom looked different. Felt different. Like maybe there was a reason I got out. I should be scared. Should recognize this for what it is. A man projecting meaning onto me. Making me responsible for his redemption. But I've spent enough time with Derek to know he's not Jake. He's not trying to own me. He's trying to become someone worth knowing. So what do? We? You think I'm walking away now? He almost smiles. Almost. I set boundaries. I follow my parole rules. I check in every Tuesday and Thursday. I don't carry weapons. I don't associate with known criminals. I don't put myself in situations where I might lose control. And Marcus? I avoid him. I document everything. If he contacts me, I tell my parole officer. I do it by the book. That's it. We just wait. That's all I can do without going back inside. The resignation in his voice breaks something in me. He's built a life on being careful, on measuring every choice against the weight of his freedom, and I'm asking him to risk it. Okay, we do it your way. We're careful. He stares at me like I've just offered him something impossible. Why are you doing this, Sarah? Because everyone deserves a second chance. Even you. We fall into a rhythm after that. Derek walks me home from late shifts, but he parks a block away so my neighbors don't talk. I bring him coffee during his lunch break at the construction site, a big development downtown, condos for people with money, and watch him work. He's good at it. Precise, patient, building things that will last. He tells me about prison in pieces, about learning carpentry in the workshop, about the library where he got his GED, about the noise, constant, suffocating, never silent, about sharing a cell the size of a bathroom with a man who snored and prayed and cried in his sleep. You learn real quick what matters. We're sitting on the steps outside my building, the city humming around us. Time, choices, the people who don't forget you exist. Your sister? Megan. She's 22 now. In college. She visited me every month for 8 years. Never missed one. Even when her friends told her she was crazy. Even when it cost her. She sounds amazing. She is. She's the reason I stayed clean inside. The reason I didn't give up. His voice cracked slightly. She believed I could be better. So I had to prove her right. Without thinking, I reach over and touch the scar on his knuckle, a thick white line across bone. Does it hurt? He looks at my hand on his like it's something fragile, something holy. Not anymore. And then he smiles. Really smiles. Small, cautious, like he's forgotten how, and is relearning in real time. Something shifts between us. Not just gratitude, not just safety. Something deeper, more dangerous. My phone buzzes. I ignore it. It buzzes again. Derek's does too. We look at each other, and I watch the smile die on his face as he reads his screen. When he looks up, there's fear in his eyes. What is it? My parole officer. She wants to see me. Tomorrow morning. Unscheduled. That's bad. That's very bad. He shows me his phone. Below the message from his parole officer is another one, from an unknown number. Told you he'd fuck up eventually. See you soon, brother. My blood runs cold. Marcus. He's setting me up. Planting something. Telling lies. I don't know. But tomorrow my parole officer is going to ask me questions I can't answer. And if I can't prove I've been clean, he doesn't finish. Doesn't have to. The next morning, Derek goes to meet his parole officer. I go to work. Try to focus. Can't. At noon, Linda calls me to the back office. Her face is pale. There's someone here to see you. Standing in the parking lot, leaning against a black sedan, is a man I've never seen before. But I recognize the tattoos, the hard eyes, the same energy Derek works so hard to contain. Marcus Webb. And standing next to him, looking official and tired and deeply suspicious, is a woman in a blazer holding a badge. Derek's parole officer. She looks at me with the expression of someone who's seen this story before and knows exactly how it ends. Sarah Mitchell? Yes. I need to ask you some questions about your relationship with Derek Cole. Marcus smiles. It's the cruelest thing I've ever seen. Better tell the truth, sweetheart. Derek's whole future depends on it. Her name is Officer Patricia Haynes, and she's been Derek's parole officer for 3 months. She has kind eyes and a wedding ring, and the exhausted look of someone who's watched too many second chances dissolve into third arrests. We sit in Linda's office. Me, Officer Haynes, and Marcus leaning against the wall like he owns the place. Linda hovers in the doorway, protective, until I tell her it's okay. It's not okay. Nothing about this is okay. Ms. Mitchell, how long have you known Derek Cole? Officer Haynes has a notebook open, pen ready. About 2 weeks. And the nature of your relationship? I glance at Marcus. He's smiling that cruel smile, like he already knows what I'm going to say and how it'll sound. He's been helping me. With a situation. What kind of situation? My ex-boyfriend was harassing me. Derek made sure he stopped. Officer Haynes writes something down. Made sure how, exactly. My mouth goes dry, because I know what she's asking. I know what Derek did to Jake's car, and I know that if I confirm it, Derek goes back to prison for violating parole, property destruction, vigilante justice, association with criminal activity. He talked to him. That's all. Marcus laughs. Actually laughs out loud. Come on, Sarah. We all know Derek doesn't just talk. He's got a temper. Always has. You don't know him. I shared a cell with him for 6 years. I know exactly who he is. Officer Haynes holds up a hand. Mr. Webb, please. Ms. Mitchell. I'm going to ask you directly. Has Derek Cole engaged in any threatening behavior? Any violence? Any activity that would violate the terms of his parole? The room is silent except for the hum of the air conditioning and the distant clatter of the diner. I think about Derek's hands, scarred and careful, about how he caught Jake's wrist without breaking it, about how he's shown up every day, followed every rule, lived in fear of losing his freedom, about how Marcus is setting him up because misery loves company and Marcus can't stand that Derek got out and stayed out. No, Derek has been nothing but respectful and law-abiding. Marcus pushes off the wall. That's funny, because I've got 3 witnesses who say they saw Derek at Jake's car last night, around 2 a.m., right before the windows got smashed. My heart stops. Who? Friends of mine. Good people. Concerned citizens. Officer Haynes looks at me. Ms. Mitchell, where was Derek last night between 1 and 3 a.m.? I open my mouth. Close it, because I don't know. I was asleep until 3 when I found the note. Derek was parked outside, but I don't know when he got there. Don't know what he did before that. I don't know. Marcus's smile widens. See? She doesn't know, because Derek was doing what Derek does. Taking care of problems the old way. That's not... Ms. Mitchell. Officer Haynes's voice is gentle but firm. I need you to understand something. Derek Cole is 1 violation away from going back to prison. 1 mistake, 1 bad choice. And if he's slipping back into old patterns, he's not. Then help me prove that. Tell me the truth about what's happening between you two. So I do. I tell her everything. About the men in suits at the diner. About Jake's harassment. About Derek watching over me, fixing my table, walking me home. About Marcus showing up and pressuring Derek to help with jobs Derek refuses to take. About how I've watched Derek choose the hard right path every single day since I met him. When I finish, Officer Haynes is quiet for a long time. Then she closes her notebook. Mr. Webb, I think we're done here. What? You're just going to take her word for it. I'm going to investigate properly. And if I find out you've been harassing Derek or falsifying reports, you'll be the one back inside. Understand? Marcus's face darkens. He looks at me with pure hatred. You think you're protecting him? You're just making it worse. Derek's got a target on his back now. And so do you. He leaves. Officer Haynes stands, hands me her card. Call me if Marcus contacts you again. Or if Derek does anything at all, that concerns you. He won't. I hope you're right, Ms. Mitchell. For both your sakes. She leaves too. Linda comes back in, hugs me hard. Are you insane? Getting involved with an ex-con? He's not just an ex-con. Sarah. He's a person who made a mistake and paid for it. And everyone's treating him like he's still that mistake. Maybe because mistakes like that don't just disappear. I pull away from her. I need to see him. Derek's at the construction site when I find him, hauling lumber in the midday heat. When he sees me, he sets down the 2x4 and walks over, wiping sweat from his face. You talked to Haynes. I told her the truth. Which truth? That you've been following every rule. That Marcus is trying to set you up. That, Sarah. He says my name like a prayer and a warning. You need to stay away from me for a while. Marcus isn't bluffing. He's planning something big. Something that's going to hurt people. And he wants me involved. Then we go to the police. And tell them what? That my ex-cellmate is planning a crime I don't have details about. They'll think I'm part of it. That I'm trying to cover my ass. So what do we do? He looks at me for a long moment. Then he reaches out and tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. It's the first time he's touched me like that. Gentle. Intimate. You stay safe. You go to work, go home. Don't engage with Marcus. And I figure out how to stop him without breaking my parole. Derek, I can't go back inside. Sarah, I can't. 8 years was... His voice breaks. I barely survived 8 years. If I go back, I won't make it. And Megan, she needs me out here. She needs to know it was worth it. All those visits, all that faith. It has to mean something. It does. It means everything. Then trust me to handle this. Please. I want to argue. Want to tell him we're in this together, that he doesn't have to carry it alone. But I see the fear in his eyes. Raw, naked, desperate, and I know he's right. One wrong move and he loses everything. Okay, I trust you. He kisses my forehead. Quick, careful, like he's afraid of breaking some invisible rule. Then he goes back to work. I drive home, park, walk up to my apartment. I'm fumbling with my keys when I notice it. The door is already unlocked. I push it open slowly. My apartment looks normal at first. Same furniture, same mess, same life. Then I see it on my kitchen counter. A gun, black, heavy, official-looking, and next to it, a note in Marcus's handwriting. Give this to Derek. Tell him if he doesn't help us with the job on Friday, I'll make sure his parole officer finds this in his apartment during her next random check. He goes back to prison, or he helps us. His choice. Clock's ticking. My hands shake as I pick up the note. Friday is 3 days away, and I have no idea what job Marcus is planning, but I know Derek would rather die than go back to prison. I grab my phone, start to dial Derek's number. Then I stop. Because giving him this gun, telling him about Marcus's ultimatum, that puts him in an impossible position. He either breaks parole to help criminals, or he goes back inside for a crime he didn't commit. Unless I figure out what Marcus is planning. Unless I find another way. I stare at that gun on my counter, at Marcus's cruel handwriting, and I make a choice. I don't tell Derek. I hide the gun in my closet, behind the winter clothes I never wear. And I start digging into Marcus Webb's life, looking for anything I can use against him. Because Derek spent 8 years paying for his mistakes. I'm not going to let Marcus make him pay for another 8. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Smart girl, keeping secrets. But secrets won't save him. Nothing will. See you Friday. I don't sleep for 3 days. I spend every free moment researching Marcus Webb, criminal records, public parole conditions, findable if you know where to look, known associates, harder, but not impossible when you're desperate. I call in sick to work for the first time in 2 years. Linda doesn't believe me. I don't care. What I find terrifies me. Marcus got out early for cooperating with prosecutors on an unrelated case. Testified against a drug dealer in exchange for time served. Which means he's a snitch. Which means he's got enemies. Which means whatever he's planning on Friday, it's not just about money. It's about survival. About proving he's still dangerous, still relevant, Still someone you don't cross. The job is a jewelry store in Beaverton. I piece it together from texts I shouldn't have access to. Marcus's parole officer accidentally CC'd me on an email meant for Derek's officer, and I saw Marcus's phone number. I create a fake profile, do some social engineering, gain access to his cloud storage. It's all probably illegal. I don't care about that either. Friday at 9 p.m. 3 men, including Marcus. They need a fourth. Someone who knows the security system, who used to work in that kind of installation. Someone like Derek, who did electrical work before prison, who's now doing construction that includes security wiring. They're going to use Derek's knowledge or they're going to use Derek's freedom as collateral. Either way, Derek loses, unless I stop them first. Wednesday morning, Derek shows up at my door. I haven't answered his calls, his texts. He looks exhausted, scared. Sarah, we need to talk. I know, I let him in. He sees my laptop open, the research scattered across my coffee table, the timeline I've built, the addresses, the names. What is this? This is me figuring out how to save you. Jesus Christ, Sarah. His voice is sharp, panicked. Do you know what you're doing? If Marcus finds out you're digging into his business, then what? He'll threaten me. He already broke into my apartment. He already put a gun on my counter. Derek goes very still. What gun? I show him. Pull it from the closet, still in the plastic bag where I hid it. His face goes white. When? Monday. He left it with a note. Said you either help with the job Friday or he plants it in your apartment and calls your parole officer. And you didn't tell me? Because what would you have done? My voice cracks. You would have tried to handle it alone. Would have put yourself in danger. Would have risked everything for me, and I'm not letting you do that. That's not your choice. Neither is going back to prison. We're shouting now. Standing in my tiny living room, surrounded by evidence of Marcus's crimes. Both of us terrified and angry and trying to protect each other in the stupidest possible ways. Derek runs his hands over his head, breathing hard. I've been trying to figure this out for days, trying to find a way to stop Marcus without breaking parole, without getting you involved, without... He stops, looks at me. The job is Friday, 9 p.m., jewelry store in Beaverton. I know because Marcus told me, gave me the address, the schematics, everything. Said I had until Thursday to decide. So we go to the police. With what evidence? Your illegal research? My word against his? They'll think I'm part of it. That I'm trying to save myself by throwing Marcus under the bus. Then what? He's quiet for a long time. Then he pulls out his phone, shows me a contact, anonymous tip line. I send them everything. Layout of the store, time of the robbery, Marcus's name and parole number. I don't identify myself. Just give them enough to stop it. And if they trace it back to you, they won't. I use a burner phone, public Wi-Fi, route it through enough proxies that it's untraceable. I learned things inside, Sarah, things I'm not proud of, but that might actually help us now. That's it. We just hope the police show up in time. No, we make sure they do. He sits down at my laptop, starts typing with the confidence of someone who's thought this through 1,000 times. We send the tip tomorrow night. Give them enough time to set up surveillance, but not enough time for Marcus to change the plan. Then we wait. We stay visible, documented. I check in with my parole officer Thursday afternoon like always. You go to work. We both have alibis. And Marcus gets arrested, goes back inside. And if he tries to implicate me, there's no evidence, no phone calls, no meetings, no connection except his word against mine, and an anonymous tip that saved lives. It's brilliant. It's careful. It's exactly the kind of plan someone would make after 8 years of watching every single choice, but it requires perfect timing, perfect execution, and trust that the system will work the way it's supposed to. What if it doesn't work? Derek looks at me, and I see the weight of every choice he's ever made in his eyes. Then I'm going back to prison, and you're going back to your life. And maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Don't say that. Sarah, no. I grab his face, force him to look at me. You're not going back. We're going to stop Marcus, and you're going to stay free, and we're going to figure out what this is between us, okay? What is this between us? I don't know, but I want to find out. He kisses me, really kisses me, desperate and careful and full of 8 years of hunger and hope. When we break apart, we're both shaking. Okay, his voice is rough. We do this. together. Thursday at 4 p.m., Derek sends the anonymous tip. Layout, names, time, everything. I'm with him in his apartment, barely furnished. Everything temporary, like he's still not sure he gets to stay. We use a laptop he bought cash at a pawn shop, routed through coffee shop Wi-Fi 3 neighborhoods over. The message sends, we wait. At 6 p.m., Derek checks in with Officer Haynes. Routine appointment. I watch from the coffee shop across the street as he walks in, walks out 20 minutes later. He texts me, all good. She has no idea. Thursday night, we both go to work. Stay visible. Create alibis. I serve coffee and smile and try not to think about what's happening behind the scenes. About police setting up surveillance. About Marcus preparing for a robbery that will never happen. About Derek's freedom hanging by a thread. Friday morning, my phone rings. Unknown number. Hello? Miss Mitchell? This is Detective Bradley Chen, Portland PD. I need to ask you some questions about Derek Cole. My blood turns to ice. Is he okay? He's fine. He's here. We need you to come down to the station. Why? What happened? Just come down, please. It's important. I drive to the station with my heart in my throat. They take me to an interrogation room, small, gray, smelling of coffee and desperation. Derek's in the room next to mine. I can see him through the window, sitting with his hands flat on the table, looking exhausted. Detective Chen sits across from me. He's young, Asian, wearing a wedding ring and a tired expression. Mrs. Mitchell, can you tell me about your relationship with Derek Cole? Why? What's he accused of? Just answer the question, please. So I do. Again, I tell him everything. The diner, Jake, Marcus, the threats. The detective takes notes, asks follow-ups, circles back to timing. Where was Derek last night between 8 p.m. and midnight? At work. He had a night shift at the construction site. I can give you his foreman's number. And where were you? At the diner. Working. My manager can confirm. Detective Chen nods. Makes a note. Then he slides a photo across the table. A jewelry store. Shattered glass. Police tape. 3 men in handcuffs. One of them is Marcus. We received an anonymous tip yesterday about a planned robbery. Set up surveillance. Caught them in the act. All 3 are going back to prison. Relief floods through me so hard I almost cry. That's good. Mr. Webb is claiming Derek Cole was involved. That Derek planned it. That Derek was supposed to be there. That Derek set them up to save himself. The relief evaporates. That's insane. Derek had nothing to do with... Can you prove that? I stare at him. At his tired eyes. At the photo of Marcus in handcuffs, still trying to drag Derek down even from the back of a police car. He was at work. I was at work. Check the cameras, the time cards, ask anyone. Derek's been following every rule for 3 months. So you're saying this anonymous tip had nothing to do with him? It's a trap. I see it clearly. If I say yes, I'm lying. If I say no, Derek looks guilty. I'm saying Derek Cole has worked harder than anyone I know to stay clean, and Marcus Webb is desperate to make sure Derek fails because misery loves company. Check Derek's phone records, his location data, his parole check-ins. You won't find anything because there's nothing to find. Detective Chen studies me. Then he stands. Wait here. He leaves. I sit in that gray room for 30 minutes, an hour, 2. Finally, Officer Haynes comes in, and behind her, Derek. He looks shaken but intact. Free. We verified his alibi. Officer Haynes's voice is professional, but there's warmth underneath. He was exactly where he said he was. And we found the burner phone Marcus used to try to plant evidence in Derek's apartment. Mr. Webb is going away for a long time. You're both free to go. Derek and I don't speak until we're outside, standing in the parking lot under a gray Portland sky that threatens rain. Then he pulls me into his arms and holds on like I'm the only thing keeping him from drowning. You saved me. We saved each other. He's shaking. I realize he's crying. Silent. Careful. Like he's forgotten how to do even that. I thought I was going back. But you didn't. You're here. You're free. Because of you. Because of us. We stand there until the rain starts. Then we get in his truck and drive. I don't ask where we're going. Don't care. As long as we're going together. It takes 3 days for Marcus to make bail. I don't know how. Officer Haynes says someone put up property. A cousin. A friend. Someone stupid enough to believe Marcus's version of events. Doesn't matter. What matters is he's out. And he's angry. The first sign is a text. Sunday morning, my phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number. You think you won? You think this is over? Derek's a dead man, and you're the reason why. I show Derek. We're at his apartment, drinking coffee, pretending we're normal people having a normal Sunday. He reads it and his jaw goes tight. He's bluffing. What if he's not? Then we document it, send it to Haynes, add it to the case against him. But we both know documentation only matters if you're alive to testify. Monday. I go back to work. Linda hugs me so hard I can't breathe. Tells me she's sorry for doubting Derek. Says she saw the news about Marcus getting arrested. The diner feels safer now. Lighter. Like a weight's been lifted. Until Tuesday, when I get a call from Megan, Derek's sister. I've never met her. Only heard about her in stories. Her voice on the phone is young. Scared. Furious. Is this Sarah? Yes, who? This is Megan Cole, Derek's sister. Someone came to my campus today asking questions about Derek, about where he lives, who he talks to, whether he's been acting suspicious. The guy had tattoos. Looked like Marcus from the pictures Derek showed me. My stomach drops. Did he hurt you? No, but he followed me to my car, took photos, said he just wanted to make sure Derek was being honest with his parole officer. It was a threat. Sarah. He's going after Derek through me. Where are you now? Library. With campus security, but I'm scared. Stay there. I'm calling Derek. I hang up and dial Derek immediately. He answers on the first ring. Megan called you. You knew? She called me first. I'm already on my way to her campus. Derek, if you go there, if Marcus is watching, I'm not letting him use my sister to get to me. The line goes dead. I grab my keys and drive. Eugene is 2 hours south. I make it in 90 minutes, speeding the whole way, praying I don't get pulled over. When I get to the University of Oregon campus, I find Derek's truck in the parking lot outside the library, and I find Derek standing face-to-face with Marcus in the quad. Students are watching, filming on their phones. Campus security is approaching, but Derek isn't moving, isn't backing down, and Marcus is smiling that cruel smile. There she is, your little savior. Marcus doesn't even look at me. You think you're smart? Sending that anonymous tip. I know it was you, Derek, and now you're going to pay for it. You're on bail. You contact me or anyone I know again, you go straight back to county. Worth it. Marcus steps closer. You were my brother inside. We survived together. And you threw me away the second you got a taste of freedom and some waitress's pussy. Derek's hands curl into fists. I see him fighting it. 8 years of control, of choosing the hard right path, of being better than his worst impulses. Walk away, Marcus. Or what? You'll hit me. Please, give me a reason to call your parole officer and tell her you assaulted me. Go ahead. It's a trap. Marcus wants Derek to swing. Wants witnesses. Wants proof. Wants Derek back inside where misery can have company again. I step between them. He's not going to hit you. But I am. And I do. I punch Marcus Webb in the face with everything I've got. My fist connects with his nose, and there's a crunch that's probably his cartilage or my knuckles or both. Blood sprays. He staggers back, and I'm ready to hit him again when campus security grabs me. Ma'am, step back. He's been stalking us, threatening us. He broke into my apartment. Ma'am, calm down. Check his bail conditions. He's not supposed to be within 100 feet of Derek Cole. The security guard looks at Derek, at Marcus bleeding and cursing, at the crowd of students filming everything. He radios for backup. 30 minutes later, we're all in campus police offices. Marcus is being processed for violating bail. I'm being lectured about assault. Derek is sitting next to me, staring at my swollen knuckles with an expression I can't read. When they finally let us go, me with a warning, Marcus back in custody, Derek and I walk to his truck in silence. Megan's there, waiting, and when she sees Derek, she runs to him and hugs him so hard he lifts her off the ground. I'm okay, Meg. I'm okay. He was going to make you fight, make you lose everything. I know. And she stopped him. Megan pulls back, looks at me for the first time. She's beautiful. 22, dark hair, Derek's gray eyes but warmer, softer. You're Sarah. Yeah. You punched a criminal in the face for my brother. Yeah. She hugs me. Hard. Thank you. We drive back to Portland together. Derek, Megan, and me. Megan falls asleep in the back seat. Derek reaches over and takes my hand, the one with bruised knuckles, and holds it carefully. You shouldn't have done that. I know. You could have been arrested. Could have been hurt. I know. Why? I look at him in the dim light of the truck's cab. This man who's spent 8 years paying for a mistake, who's worked so hard to be better, who's protected me without asking for anything in return. Because I wasn't the girl who needed saving anymore. I was the one who chose to fight. He pulls over, right there on the highway, hazards on, and he kisses me like I'm the answer to a question he's been asking his whole life. When we get home, to my apartment, because his still feels temporary, there's a message on my voicemail from Detective Chen. Marcus violated bail. He's back in custody, but during processing, they found something. Photos on his phone, plans, not just for Derek, for a bigger job, something that would have hurt people. And because of my punch, because of campus security getting involved, they found it in time. Marcus Webb is going away for 20 years, minimum. Wednesday morning, I wake up to Derek making coffee in my kitchen. Megan's asleep on my couch. And for the first time since this started, I feel like we might actually be safe. Then my phone rings. Officer Haynes. Miss Mitchell, I need you to come down to my office and bring Derek. Why? What's wrong? It's not bad, it's complicated. Just come in. We go. Megan stays at my apartment, studying for finals and eating my cereal. When we get to Haynes's office, she's sitting with another woman. Older, severe, with a briefcase, and the kind of power suit that means lawyer. This is Claire Morrison. She's with the Victim Services Division of the DA's office. Derek goes very still. The man you assaulted 8 years ago, Mr. Patterson, the convenience store owner, he's been following your case, and he wants to meet with you. The color drains from Derek's face. Why? Because he read about Marcus Webb's arrest, about how you protected Ms. Mitchell, about how you've been living since your release, and he has something he wants to say to you. Claire Morrison opens her briefcase and pulls out a letter. Handwritten? She slides it across the table. Derek stares at it like it might explode. I can't read it. Haynes's voice is gentle. Trust me. Derek picks up the letter with shaking hands. Reads, and I watch his face crumple. Watch 8 years of guilt and shame and grief break open. When he's done, he can't speak. So Claire Morrison does it for him. Mr. Patterson forgives you. He's seen who you've become. And he wants you to know that he doesn't blame you for what happened that night, that he hopes you can forgive yourself. Derek is crying openly now. No sound, just tears streaming down his face. He also wants to meet with you. If you're willing. No pressure, no obligation. Just a conversation between two men who survived the same night in different ways. Derek looks at me. I nod. I'll do it. We leave the office an hour later, after signing forms and scheduling a meeting with Mr. Patterson for next week. When we get to the parking lot, Derek stops, leans against his truck, and just breathes. I thought he hated me. He probably did. For a while. I've spent 8 years hating myself for what I did to him. And he forgives me? People can surprise you. He pulls me close, buries his face in my hair. You did. Every single day, you surprise me. That night, the three of us, Derek, Megan, and me, order pizza and watch terrible reality TV in my apartment. We're laughing at something ridiculous when my phone buzzes. A news alert. Local channel. Breaking. Anonymous tip leads to massive drug bust. 3 arrested. Connection to recently captured criminal Marcus Webb. I show Derek. He reads it, and his eyes widen. They found something. What? When they arrested Marcus, they must have gotten access to his contacts, his network, everything. His phone rings. Officer Haynes. He answers, listens, and his expression shifts from confusion to disbelief to something like hope. When he hangs up, he's staring at nothing. What? The DA wants me to testify about Marcus, about what he tried to make me do, about the tip I sent. But you sent it anonymously. They traced it. They know it was me. But they don't care. They said, his voice cracks, they said what I did was brave, that I used my knowledge to stop a crime instead of commit one, that I'm exactly the kind of success story the system needs. Derek, they're going to recommend early termination of my parole. If I testify, if I help them put Marcus away, I could be free. Really free. No check-ins, no restrictions, no looking over my shoulder. He looks at me with 8 years of hope and fear in his eyes. But I have to testify in open court, in front of Marcus, and tell everyone what I did, what I was. You're not what you were. You're who you are now. And who am I? I take his face in my hands, bruised knuckles and all. You're the man who saved me, who protected his sister, who stopped a robbery without throwing a punch. You're Derek Cole, and you're free. But even as I say it, even as Megan hugs him and we celebrate, I see the fear in his eyes. Because tomorrow, Derek has to face Marcus one more time, in court, where everything can still go wrong. The courtroom is silent when Derek takes the stand. Marcus sits at the defense table in chains, his face twisted with hatred. I'm in the gallery, holding Megan's hand so tight my fingers go numb. Officer Haynes is behind us. Even Linda came. The DA stands. Rebecca Ortiz, fierce and confident. Mr. Cole, why did you send that anonymous tip? Derek looks at Marcus, then at me. Because Marcus was going to hurt people. And I couldn't let that happen. Not anymore. Even though it meant risking your parole. I wasn't thinking about parole. I was thinking about who might get hurt. Whether they'd survive. His voice drops. 8 years ago, I was part of something that hurt an innocent man. I've spent every day since trying to prevent that kind of harm instead of causing it. Why anonymous? Because I was afraid no one would believe me. Afraid I'd lose everything I'd worked for. And yet you did it anyway. Why? Derek looks directly at me. Because someone believed I could be better, and I had to prove her right. The trial takes 3 hours. The jury takes 20 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Marcus explodes, screaming threats as bailiffs drag him out. Derek just sits there, calm and sad and relieved. Outside the courthouse, the DA shakes Derek's hand. The judge approved your parole termination. You're free, Mr. Cole, completely free. Derek can't speak, just nods. A week later, we meet Mr. Patterson, the store owner Derek hurt 8 years ago. They sit across from each other in a small office. For a long moment, nobody speaks. Then Mr. Patterson extends his hand. I forgive you. Derek takes it, and I watch 8 years of guilt begin to dissolve. 6 months later, we're living in Hood River. Derek's a construction foreman. I manage a bookstore. We have a small house with a yard. People here know his past, but they also see him coaching Little League, helping neighbors, showing up. Today is our anniversary. 1 year since I saved his life at the diner. We're back at Rosie's, sitting in that same corner booth. Derek reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small box. I'm an ex-con with a past that'll never disappear. But I'm also a man who knows what second chances are worth. And I want to build a life with you. He opens the box. A simple silver ring. Will you marry me? Yes. He slides the ring on my finger and kisses me while Linda cheers and customers applaud. That night, lying in bed, Derek whispers, "A year ago, I was terrified I'd lose everything. Now I'm here, with you, and I get to stay. You get to stay. 2 people who survived their mistakes. 2 people who chose each other. 2 people who proved redemption isn't erasing the past. It's building something better with the future." Derek Cole earned his second chance, and I'll spend forever reminding him he deserves it. If you made it to the end of this story, let us know in the comments which city you're watching from, and click the yellow bell to subscribe to the channel and support us. Keep the adventure going by clicking on the suggested video on your screen.